Welcome classic rock fans to an unscheduled album review, prompted by those kindly folk at Opeth sending me an edition of their, what is considered to be their masterpiece, Blackwater Park. Before we discuss the album, let's unbox it, shall we? Well, here it is. This is Opeth Blackwater Park, the 20th anniversary edition. Let's get this cellophane off it. So there we are, that's the artwork. Let's show you the spine. And there's the rear of the sleeve. I'm just going to go through the booklet now. I like it when they include lots of information about the album. It's a nice package. I apologise for the noises in the background. My wife is tinkering about in the kitchen. That's a washing machine as well. Nice smorgasbord of pictures there. And then we get the disc. I'll show it to you. Put that back in there. On this, of course, we get the Leper Affinity, Bleak, Harvest, Drapery Falls, Dirge for November, Funeral Portrait, Patterns in the Ivy, Blackwater Park, and you get the bonus track of the Leper Affinity Live. I believe this mix is the same, really, as the 2012 mix, but nevertheless, it's just packaged better. Anyway, there you go. That's the unboxing for you. This album is a work of staggering creative breadth and depth, where they explore the paradigms of what is known as progressive metal. It's both raucous and nuanced. I must admit to really enjoying progressive metal at the moment, finding an inherent beauty in the crunch and bluster of the music. Trent Reznor famously said that I think there's something strangely musical about noise, and he's spot on. This album employs what can only be described as symphonic elements amid its broad, metallic strokes. And the songwriting is excellent on this record. Of course, the main ingredient with this one is the involvement of Porcupine Tree's Steven Wilson. You know, he brings a clarity and a fluidity to the proceedings. Some have suggested this has prompted a shift in Opeth's musical style on this record. You know, it's certainly an album of inventive arrangements termed as movements by the band. I mean, who would have thought it is a curious artefact from Sweden, a country famed for Volvos and safety matches. The album is best summed up by the critic Eduardo Rivadavia, I hope I've said that right. The tracks start and finish in seemingly arbitrary fashion, usually traversing ample musical terrain, including acoustic guitar, solo piano passages, ambient soundscapes, stoner rock grooves, and Eastern-tinged melodies, any of which are subject to savage punctuations of death metal fury at any given moment. There's no doubt this is an album of contrasts, extensively exploring that dynamic range. There's some incredible melodic passages as well that are just chillingly beautiful. You know, we get the Arabian-flavoured riffs of Bleak and the anthemic chorus of the Drapery Falls. That's before we get that beautiful Dirge for November. In 2020, Loudwire listed Blackwater Park as the #1 progressive metal album of all time. Rolling Stone, in fact, has ranked the album as 55th on the list of 100 greatest metal albums of all time. which suggests it's an album that's certainly worth checking out. Opeth's guitarist Michael Ackerfeld has produced a fine body of work here, and the songwriting is definitely there. It's received several plaudits from numerous publications, many describing it as a coming-of-age album. The band produced this epic canvas, which harkens back to the classic age of prog. There's definitely nods to bands like King Crimson in here. Definitely feel the influence of King Crimson's Red. In fact, one critic has described it as a godlike metal fusion of Pink Floyd and the Beatles. Certainly it's a collection of sonic motifs that reoccur, giving the whole thing a kind of a thematic, if not sonic, unity. As I've said, the dynamic range explored on this record is absolutely staggering. You know, it contrasts from heavy riffs to moments of calmness, and the voice of Ackerfeld all contributes to a very strange and yet compelling musical palette. From the big opening of Bleak to the smaller, more delicate moments of The Drapery Falls, for example. The overall sound and production on this record is excellent. We have to doff our caps to Opeth, who co-produced it, but also Stephen Wilson and engineer Fredrik Nordstrom. They bring a whole new feel to this album and to this genre. The acoustic-led arrangements really are allowed to shine and just simply be. It allows the listener to become immersed in this music. It really is a sonic roller coaster, you know, from moments of, as I said, moments of calmness, acoustic and serenity, to you know, the more abrasive elements, shall we say. It is both conversely crystal clear, yet resolutely heavy as well. They have merged in this wonderful musical splurge numerous influences. One can detect, you know, psychedelia, prog, extreme metal. It fluctuates and transitions smoothly from death growls to clean acoustic compositions. The music is simultaneously reflective, dazed, sorrowful, or at times we get that explosive growls. Ackerfeld allows us to bask in that barbaric yop of his. The name of the album, Blackwater Park, takes its name from an obscure German band, I believe, and the explicit formalism of their music is evocative of I would say, the best of progressive metal. In fact, Ned Raggett writes, Blackwater Park has the reputation it does in large part because none of the songs follow the same songwriting formula, instead looking towards variations within general themes that all build to a dramatic conclusion in the title track. So I listened to this album earlier and made some notes about each track individually. Leper Affinity slowly rumbles into being with that keyboard swelling organ sound before it explodes into a frenzy of guitar and growling, throaty roars of Ackerfeld. The interplay of the guitars is intriguing, providing almost a wall of sound from which these tubercular and demonic vocals can sort of spring from. I love about 4 minutes 14 seconds into this track, where it goes all wishbone ash on us before the acoustic phrasing and plaintive singing. Then we get what I call the aqualung effect with these heavily phased vocals. And the whole thing ends beautifully with that single guitar note morphing to some lovely piano passages. The solo piano, reverb piano, reminds me a little bit of the sound that Nick Cave was going for on his last album, Idiot Prayer. Bleak has something with the Iron Maiden about it. The guitar sounds as if it's been lifted from Power Slave. We get the rumbling dark vocals once more, and I love the acoustic part, and that soaring ethereal guitar sounds as if it's been lifted from Pink Floyd's circa Atom Heart Mother. It's incredibly melodic, which certainly appeals to me. I do like a bit of quality tunage. Harvest, we get this lovely acoustic bit at the beginning, this wailing guitar phrases. Creates a mournful atmosphere before the vocals implore you to stay with me. The vocals are double tracked, it seems, or maybe two voices, I'm not sure, but it's one of the highlights of this album with lots of different moods and genres explored within its stylings. The Drapery Falls. It begins like its predecessor with that multi-layered guitars, creating that wall of sound effects, as I've said. About 2 minutes and 4 seconds into the song, and it employs this reverb guitar effect that very much reminds me of Gilmour's playing on that Pink Floyd track, The Narrow Way. The vocals are absolutely exquisite in this number. Enigmatic, plaintive phrasing. And about 4 minutes 7 seconds in, we get these wonderful vocals that have an almost medieval polyphonic quality to them, like some dark metal madrigal. Dirge for November starts in, it feels like a medieval ballad to me. It's You know, we almost expect a little bit of Hey Nonny Nay here, which gives way to this beautiful acoustic phrasing before it goes all Judas Priest on us. Funeral Portrait starts with some wonderful acoustic work. You know, I half expect Hurry on Sundown by Hawkwind to start, but that's for the electric guitars and the guttural roar of the vocals begin once more. Patterns in the Ivy is a beautiful opening to this one. It's a lovely, lovely instrumental. And then we get the title track, of course, Blackwater Park. It's a great heavy number with buzzsaw guitars. That is until we get to about 2 minutes 43 into the song, and it goes all nursery crime. It's a thoroughly intriguing number. It's a thoroughly intriguing album, I have to say. It's an album that I'll certainly be revisiting. It's a blend of different textures and sounds, and as I've said, it really does push and explore those paradigms of what we expect from progressive metal. If you haven't heard this album and you're into this sort of music, I really urge you to check it out. I know you've been listening to a review from Classic Album Review. If you haven't already done so, do click like, subscribe and check that bell. And do check some of the links below this video for ways you can support or show your appreciation for the work done here. It's always much appreciated. So it just leaves me to say I hope you're all staying well, staying safe, enjoying the summer, but more importantly, keep listening.